So what we're going to create today is a pattern that is seamless, that if you make, say, a document that's 8.5 by 11 inches, you can fill it with this pattern from this one little square here that we're going to create. In order to start doing a pattern, you need to work with a square shape first, and you can grab a square shape from your toolbar here. Make sure you grab the rectangle tool, not the rounded or the ellipse. Grab your rectangle tool, hold your shift, click and drag, and you will make a square, not a rectangle. So that's what I've done here. And then what I've done is I've gone back here and I chose my star tool, and I made some star shapes as such, as you can see. And I've randomly placed them inside, and you could place them any way you want within the square. It doesn't matter. Obviously you want to make it not look repetitive, so you want to kind of give it some variety and move things around a little bit. Shake it up. Let's see, I'll make this one maybe a little bit bigger, and maybe I'll move it over here, say, and move that one there. Maybe I'll grab that one, make it a little bit bigger too. Okay, so the object is that we need to make it seamless, so that when we fill this whole page, these stars don't look like suddenly there's a big white box here, that it's not a seamless pattern. So in order to do that, you have to have some of your shapes outside of the boundary of this box. So I have these two stars here sitting right at the center on this line here. I'm going to hold my shift, select this star, and the box, and I'm going to hold Control Option, click, and I'm going to drag to the right, and as I drag to the right, I'm going to press on the shift while I'm pressing on the Control Option, and I'm going to make a duplicate of it right at the same point where the box ends on the right. So you want to have smart guides on to do this. So I'm going to let go, click off. I'm going to get rid of this box now because I don't need it any longer, and I'm going to get rid of that star. And then I'm going to do the same thing going downward. So I'm going to grab this star, or both of these stars, grab the box, click, hold my Control, my Option, click, select Shift, and drag down, and make sure it perfectly lines up. It's got to snap right into place. And we'll zoom in and make sure it's right on the line. And you can always do Command Y to make sure if it is or if it isn't. And I did Command Y, and then I used my arrow tools. And I'm going to zoom out and do Apple 0 to see what we're doing. Let's get rid of this box. We don't need it. Command Y again. I'm going to get rid of this box. And now I can see that this is overlapping here, and I don't like that, so I'm going to move this. What you don't want to move is these stars or shapes that you've created once you've placed them. You want to keep those, but anything within the box you can move around. So I'm still deciding how I want my pattern to look. So let's just say that I think I'm happy with that right now. The next thing you have to do is you have to cut these shapes that are sticking outside of your box. And the best way to do that is to use your Pathfinder tool, which I have up right here. If not, you go Window and you find your Pathfinder and you click on it, and you'll have this tablet up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this shape and this shape first, and I'm going to make them a compound path. Compound path, make. So now they're one object. Second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my rectangle tool again, and I'm going to make a shape that covers the stars that are outside of the box. This shape is sitting in front of these two stars right now. I grab my shape, hold my shift, and grab my stars. I'm going to go to my Pathfinder, and I'm going to use this shape mode, minus front. And now it got rid of the rest of the stars that were sticking outside of the box. I'm going to grab my rectangle tool again. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Back to my selection tool, hold my shift. Oh, I forgot. I want to make this and this a compound path. Object, compound path, make. Now I'm going to hold my shift, grab this box, minus front. Let's do this 2 more times. I'm going to do it over here. And remember, you really want to have smart guides on so that everything snaps into place. I'm going to select these 2 stars. I've already made a compound path. I'm going to hold my shift, select my box, minus front, and 1 more time. Do it right here. Selection tool, grab these 2. These are already a compound path. Hold my shift, minus front. Okay, we're almost done. Now we want to take the actual square, and we don't want to give it a stroke because the stroke will show up then in the pattern. So we want to get rid of the stroke, and this is what we want to have. I'm going to now move this over here, open up my swatches. I'm going to click and drag this, and I want to make sure that we don't have any extraneous boxes. All I want is this. I'm going to grab the whole thing and I'm going to drag it right into my swatches. Now I'm going to take this temporarily, I'm going to group it, and I'm just going to hide it. So let's say we want to make a pattern that fits the entire page. So I make a square, I go bring my fill to the front, I go to my swatches and I select this shape. And now, as you can see, it is a seamless pattern. You cannot tell where the square ends or begins.